Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Art of Life podcast. I'm your host, Kanika, and today I have the lovely Rashida with me. She's an award winning speaker and an author, and she's awesome at storytelling. So, Rashida, we were just talking, and you were telling me how your name has some significance. Do you really relate with your name?
It's interesting you say that. And that's a great question to start, by the way. I'm really excited about the time that we have together here. I just love all that you do. And I was really inspired when you reached out to me about this opportunity. But it's interesting, the name that I have, my father gave it to me. I'm actually named after my father. Which is interesting because a lot of people they may be named after their mothers if they're a girl, right, or female, or boys. They're named after their fathers, right? But I'm a girl, and I'm actually named after my father. His name was Rashid, and it means one who follows the righteous path. So it's a very common name in Islam or Muslim or the Muslim religion. But yeah, it means one who follows the righteous path. And I feel like I've been on a path to figure out, what is right. And by right, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a particular way, but following the path that I've been assigned, right? And each of us has an earthly assignment. So I'm trying to follow that assignment that I've been given. So yes, I'm living into that name.
Did you always feel this way about your name, about yourself? How's that journey been of finding your own sense of belief, trust in yourself?
Yeah, it's actually been an interesting journey. And it actually started when I was a child, even before I truly understood what my name meant. Right. Even when I was younger, I was always trying to figure out a way. And some people may say, "Oh, that sounds like people pleasing," and we can get into that because oftentimes we want everyone to like us, or we want everyone to feel comfort around us, even if that means we have to change who we are. Uh, I eventually learned how to move through those feelings, but growing up, I always wanted peace around me because I grew up in a community where sometimes there wasn't peace. And growing up, we moved a lot. My mother was a single mother. My parents split when I was 7, and so sometimes there would be some challenges, right, and finding that peace and consistency, right? We moved several times. By the time I was in third grade, we moved 6 different times. And me just trying to find that peace, I always wanted to make friends and always wanted to have community and find that connection. And sometimes that was challenging, moving around a lot. So I would go out of my way to make people happy, to smile, to make them feel accepted, right? And I eventually realized that sometimes all I have to do is just be myself. That took a while. Sometimes there's a challenge, even as an adult. But over the past few years, I think I've been able to really embrace just really who I am and not doing all of the people pleasing, right?
Yay, love that. Love that. And thanks for being so vulnerable and so honest with your story as well. So you went on, and then 2010 is when you started the Empowered Flower Girl. Tell us about that. Like, what really happened? Was that your plan? Was it a calling? What happened?
All of the above. So it was a plan and it wasn't a plan, but it was all my calling. I actually originally started off as a mentor. I mentored a group of girls right around the time I was a senior in college. I was looking for something to do to give back. I had experienced quite a bit of grief and loss. The people who raised me, my aunt and uncle, I eventually went on to move in with them. They raised me from the time I was around 12 or 13 up until they both passed away in 1998 and in 2000. Yep, 1998 and 2000. Wow. they passed away. And it was a challenge because these were two people who I loved and adored and who did so much for me. They transformed the trajectory of my life. And after they passed away, I was trying to figure out, well, what is it that I really want to do? Of course, I was sad. I was grieving, and I wanted to do something to shift all the attention from me to someone else, right? I said, you know what? I can sit here and feel sorry for myself, or I can work to make a difference in the lives of other people. And I saw an ad in the paper for mentors, and they were looking for mentors for girls and young women between the ages of 5 and 17. This particular organization is based in Detroit. So I'm in the States and I live in the Metro Detroit area now. But at the time, I was living in the city, and there were some young women who were having some challenges. And that those challenges range from gang activity to being involved in street work. Others were facing homelessness, and then there were some that were just at risk of falling behind. And so what they wanted to do was help young women so that they wouldn't go down those paths, right? So that they would have positive role models to help them. And I signed up. I was just like, you know what do I have to lose? I can help make a difference for someone else. And then I really found out that those girls made a difference for me. They gave me purpose. And that experience is really what compelled me to launch Empowered Flower Girl in 2010. Um, I started off wanting to write a book to help those girls that I was mentoring, as well as my nieces, who at the time were they were teenagers, they were preteens and teenagers. So I wanted to help them because they were going through some of the same struggles as my mentees, with friendships, as well as peer pressure and societal pressure. And I said, I'm going to write a book. But it took me a while to get that book published. I actually didn't publish the book till 2016 because there was an immediate need. I found that these young women needed more immediate help. And being a part of that organization, I was asked to facilitate some trainings because they saw the success that I was having with the girls in my group. And they said, hey, come and talk to our group. Maybe you could lead a training one day. And I did that. And after that, some of the women who were attending the training said, hey, can you come to our school and talk to our girls? And the rest is history, actually. I launched Empowered Flower Girl in 2010, and then I published the book Be Empowered: How to Live Above and Beyond Life's Drama in 2016.
Ah, thank you so much for sharing your story. And there's so many pieces there,
Hmm.
um, where you're talking about your journey. Even earlier you'd mentioned how your parents were separated when you were so young.
Yeah.
Um, I divorced from my son's dad when he was 4. Now my son's 9. And I
Mhm.
still see that even though we have a good relationship, things can be different for him in different households. So I just cannot imagine how that would have been for you. And then
Yeah.
you've had to shift your life again. Then you've had to see your second family or your home not be there again and then rehab
Yeah.
yourself. But love the story that even from that place, and instead of going like, and there might have been a time, where we all do that, where we feel the victim ourselves, we stay in that, but then eventually there's a point you go like, oh, okay, fine, enough with me. Let me see what can I give out. And I love that. I love that. Because often when people come in with so much darkness, when they feel that life's been really hard, and they go like, well, I've got nothing to give, but you've got a
Mm,
lot to give. You can
always.
smile. And just like you said, that when they bring you purpose, the others bring you purpose, they give you back, even when you think you're the one who's doing the giving. uh,
That part.
I love that realization. I was at a point very, very close in my life where I wanted to end my life. Life was just not good. And my son was 2 years old then. The only person I could not do it to was my son. because he was two. Um, and, on the outside, it might feel as if I was the one taking care of him.
Hmm.
But that is so not true because he gave me the purpose. And not just that, they teach you things with
Absolutely.
giving. They teach you small little things. He was teaching me all the time how he could be very happy in the littlest of things. He did not need to have it perfect. He did not need to have anything. Just a crinkled paper would be good because it made that sound. Did you ever have that, like where those girls inspired you?
Oh, all of the time. That is that is why I say that mentoring really it is a two-way street. It is mutually beneficial because some people think, well, I'm going to mentor. I'm going to do a good thing in the world. I'm going to make a difference for other people, and then they quickly realize, wait a minute. The people that I'm mentoring, especially if you're mentoring young people, they really make a difference in your life. You're learning from them just as much as they're learning from you. And I think that a lot of what I did in life at that time was to show them that they can come from similar circumstances. They can come from a divorced home. They can come from an area that may have poverty or limited resources, and they can still give back in big ways. They can still achieve. I was the first in my family to attend and graduate from college, right? There were so many firsts that I had growing up. And I wanted to show these young ladies who came from similar backgrounds that they can do it as well. I wanted to be uh, a positive role model in their lives, even when things may have been chaotic in their homes or maybe in their communities. They may have faced some things like I faced growing up, seeing gang activity or violence. But knowing that there are some bright lights, we can all find that in the places that we come from. There are people right now living in war-torn countries, right? But there's a glimmer of hope everywhere. Everywhere we can find hope, and that's what. Well, I got chills because that is what I have seen. Right, so many places where there may be darkness. Right, the fact that we can rely on each other, we are that light for each other. And I consider myself a light worker. And a lot of people who are in mentoring or community development, they may not necessarily see themselves as light workers, but they are. We're bringing hope, and we're also like finding specks of hope, right? It's all around. And when we come together, man, we're a brilliant light for our communities and the world. And so those girls really, they gave me something to live for and aspire to. Of course, I had my own personal goals, things I wanted to do, but I also said, I want to do this for them as well. I want them to see that it is possible and that their dreams and hopes and aspirations that they matter and that they can be achieved.
Love that. And I love that you're relating seeing yourself as a light worker because anybody who's doing a heart led business, you really are leading from the heart. You really are spreading, bringing more light into the world. And then I often say this that when you are the candle, when you're the beacon of light, don't complain that you've got darkness around you because your
Mm,
job is to be the light.
that is your job. That is your assignment.
And you might say, okay, people are not getting me, but you do just the way you did. You've given a beautiful example of you were the first, so many firsts. So instead of getting daunted down by, hey, nobody's done this, so I can't do this, instead realize that you are the candle. So you are supposed to be the light. You give them the example, you shine out.
Hmm.
You say, this is what I'm going to do. And sometimes that purpose is you, where you have your goals, because this is exactly what the candle does. It's not comparing, it is not getting its validation from outside. It's just looking at itself inside and going, okay, I'm lighting up. And then, yeah, some other people will start lighting up and you'll see other hope.
Mm.
And that becomes bigger, and maybe the candle will also find bigger lights to get more inspiration from. But you look up, you see the shine, and you follow more shine, you follow more light. You don't follow the darkness, you don't look at the darkness for validation.
That's right. Um, and it's interesting because listen, I'm a type of person, I really love, um, I love maritime life, and I'm all about uh, lighthouses. And it's interesting, I've had a fascination with lighthouses since I was a child. I don't know if it's because I'm a water sign, so um, I'm a Cancer sun and Aries moon, for people who are into that sort of thing. But I'm a water sign, and I've always been drawn to the water. It calms me. It's something that is very much a peaceful place for me, being on, in, or near water. And since I was a child, I've been drawn to lighthouses, and I see how lighthouses are like the a GPS system, right? They're making sure that the ships passing, that they know where they're going, that they're not going to crash into each other, and that they're not going to crash into the shore, right? So I see that each one of us can be that guide, that guiding light for others. And so I think that's how um, I use that analogy a lot, and that's kind of what has really led me into to doing the work that I do now. So it's like symbolism all around, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a lot of symbolism, and I think that's why I'm drawn to certain things, and those things are kind of what help me and guide me into knowing, you know what, this is reassurance. You're doing the right thing. Keep at it.
Yeah, yeah. And I love you sharing that because that is what the lighthouse does. It stays in its spot, and that's literally the job. You stay, you hold the light, you guide, you be the guiding beacon, and then everybody gets anchored with that. With
Hmm.
just you holding your space. It's beautiful. But talking about the business side, because at the ultimate
Hmm.
end, there's so many listeners listening right now. They have their own calling, or perhaps they've started, jumped into something, and now they're wanting to understand, can they follow their purpose? So you followed your purpose as being the mentor, as being this inspirational person for the women around you. But how were those first few years? Because at the end of the day, you still have to make money, you have to buy all the things. And how was that
That's right.
working out for you?
Yeah. I tell people all the time, yes, you want to give back, right? You want to do charitable work, but in order to be able to give back and to donate your time and your money, you have to make money. You have to be able to pay your bills and also be able to treat yourself every now and then, right? To keep your sanity. I mean, it costs money. Even our peaceful Zen lives, we want to go to Pilates or we want to work out. These things cost money. And I tell people, don't be afraid to make money. Money is a great tool, right? It's not our source. We can actually have abundance in so many different areas outside of actual cash or dividends. But as business owners, as light workers, there is money out there to be made, and there's enough room for all of us. Um, the interesting thing about my journey is that I was debating when I first started, should I start as a nonprofit or non-government organization, or should I start as an actual business or LLC? I'm not exactly sure how things work where you live in Australia, but here in the States, you can have a nonprofit, you could be a tax exempt organization or a charity, but you can also have a social impact business or a social enterprise where you have a business that makes money, but it has a social mission and you're giving back. So I decided to go in the LLC route, limited liability company, and just partner with other nonprofit organizations, community organizations that were receiving funding, whether that's from the government or private or community grants, that sort of thing. And it was a challenge at first because I would go back and forth trying to decide, okay, should we switch over and become a nonprofit or should we stay a for profit? What should I do? Thankfully, there have been so many shifts in um, in the climate of, supporting entrepreneurship, right? There's a number of cohorts that are happening around the world. There are corporations that actually have programs where they want to fund small businesses. There are community foundations that give money to support social enterprises. So I learned over the years that, where there's a will, there's a way. And that if what you're doing is making an impact, it's making a difference, you will have support. It just happens that way. I've adopted the law of assumption. Some people call it the secret, right? But
Yeah.
I just assume that things are going to work out and that I'm going to be guided and connected to the people, the resources that I need so that I can continue to do good in the world and make a difference. And it's worked out over the years. We're an LLC still, but we partner with nonprofits, and we're able to be eligible for grants. So we're able to apply for grants, and we are eligible for grants because things have shifted in the world, and people are starting to recognize that businesses can do good, and they do good.
Yeah. And I love that. I love the little nugget that you brought out here around the law of assumption that you had.
Mhm.
You just assumed that things will work out well for you. And this is what I see for some of my clients and a lot of people as well, that especially your beliefs, what you're starting out with, they will play out. So you better get those beliefs in your favor. If you're telling yourself that, hey, if I'm doing this, I don't know if this will succeed or not, if that voice is very strong, that voice is
Mhm.
running your life. So
Yes.
calm that voice, train that puppy.
Right. Shush.
Train your puppies, train your mind puppies, and tell them that they should say
The mind puppies. I like that.
believe in what you do. Just know that it's something bigger than you. And so it will work
Mm.
out. I actually say, oh, it's the universe's job because the universe gave this to me. So the universe is basically going to look after it, right? Like it's not, I'm just doing the thing. And it's
Ever.
handed off to the universe, and the universe will do the job. It will bring the right people, it will bring the right steps. I'm just following my my plan, not plan, but
Hmm.
I'm just playing around with the inspiration, with the purpose that I feel called for. But it is the job of the universe to align everything and put everything for me. And so I assume it's all going to work out.
Yep. Because it is, right? We're doing good in the world. And that energy that we're putting out, there's just something about that is going to attract more good energy, right? The positive energy. I hear people say positive energy. Yeah, peace, good vibes. And that's so true. I always tell people I have to have a good vibe tribe of folks around me who are on similar paths, even if it's, totally different companies or different missions. They could be doing work in STEM, science and technology. There could be others who are really working in the medical field, but we're all out here trying to make a difference for people, trying to help improve the quality of life for people in our communities and globally, right? If we have the support of each other, we are winning.
Yeah.
And I do that on purpose. Find a community of folks who are doing good in the world, even if it's not in the exact field, but we can all support each other in a way. We're a village, and
Hmm.
I think that if more people saw it that way, a collaboration over competition, yeah, they could truly win.
Yeah, love that. And I love that whole spirit because it has got to move from competition to collaboration. And that is the way. But I'll still go back to the first year because that is a lot what
Hmm.
people struggle with. I think the first year is the hardest. Was that so for you?
Hmm. That's a great question. I don't necessarily think it was the hardest for me the first year. It was the year of I don't know what the heck I'm doing.
Well said.
It was a year of what? Come again? Uh, what is that? Oh, I didn't know what I didn't know. So that was my first year, is a year of learning what I didn't know that I didn't know. There were questions that I didn't even know to ask. Okay, I was trying to figure things out, and then wow. So I will say about probably about a few months into running Empower Flower Girl, I did have someone reach out to me and ask, well, how much do you charge for this particular type of workshop? And this is the one that I think uh, these are the type of questions I think that challenge a lot of people when they're just starting out, especially those who may be doing consulting work, or those who may charge for services.
Yes,
Products
totally
are a lot
relatable.
easier,
Yep.
right? Products are easy. You say that this product costs
Yeah.
this much
And
money, and
my
plain and
theory
simple.
around products is product is something else. Like you can, for example, if it's a lipstick or if it's a gym membership, you can do almost like a like for like comparison. It is
Hmm.
an extension, it is a baby that you make, but sort of still something outside you. But when we
Right.
bring value to, okay, this is the price of my hour, you're bringing value
Mm,
to yourself, you're bringing your own
yeah.
self worth. And that's why, especially in the beginning, a lot of us might be undercharging because we are
Oh.
understanding ourselves.
Absolutely. That's why I said I didn't know what I didn't know. And someone asked me about a particular workshop. Well, how much do you charge for this workshop? And I said, charge? Oh, I'm supposed to charge for that. And I said, oh, I don't know. I didn't even say, hey, you know what? Let me think about it. Let me put together a proposal. I just said, oh, $150. So my first workshop, I facilitated for a group of students. Okay, it was like 25 students, for I think it was 90 minutes, hour and a half. I only charged $150. That school got a lot out of me that first year. Okay, because I really didn't know like how much I should be charging. I didn't think about all the work it was going to take to prepare and to uh, do pre-meetings with the staff to prepare them, those sorts of things. So again, I didn't know what I didn't know, right? But it was also great experience for me because then I got to see, okay, well, I know that people are willing to pay.
Good.
When
Yeah.
previously I was doing things for free, but yes, there are people willing to pay, and they are asking me how much do you charge, and also I was able to see how much work would go into actually delivering the service. And it's not just delivering the service for 90 minutes, it's all the prep work that goes into it, and my intellectual property that goes into building the curriculum, all
It's
of
the
those things.
time,
So
it's the
it's the
travel,
time,
but
all of
beyond
it.
that, I think it's the transformation that you bring. And there's an
Mm,
energy capacity, right? Like everybody has an energy capacity, and there's an amount of giving because there is a giving in the talk,
this
in
is
the
true.
coaching, there is a giving. And there's a capacity that you can have for that, because then after that you cannot do, people can have different capacities, but it might not be possible for you to just go straight off from there and do another thing. Like it's not that the rest of the day is available, you need your time to fill up as well because you've given out. It's your whole transformation journey, everything that you've
Mm.
learned till there, you're getting your whole self there. So there's a higher price there, not just the hours.
Exactly. And I hope people were taking notes when you said that, because that is that is powerful. Sometimes we don't think about those things, right? Until after the fact, after we've said, "Oh, $150,"
But it's a
and
good
then
learning.
realize
It's a good learning.
it was
I've
definitely a
been
good
there.
learning experience. But I would say that that first year, uh, what was very helpful. And I still think about it to this day. And what's interesting is what you mentioned earlier about storytelling, and how I am a proponent for telling your story, your founder story. In that first year, um, in the first year of starting Empowered Flower Girl, it's interesting that I told my story of why I started mentoring, and why I even started Empowered Flower Girl. And it was based on experiences that I had in middle school. And some people may say, "What middle school experience? What does that have to do with you as an adult?" But when I think about my middle school experience, being teased and bullied relentlessly, just having that weigh on my self-esteem and my self-worth, and how I related to other students and even adults in my life, it was very impactful during those formative years. And I realized that many of the challenges that I faced growing up were the same challenges that the girls I was mentoring that they faced, except for they were facing it with social media, and I didn't have to experience any of that, right? We actually didn't get the World Wide Web, as it was called, the internet, until I was in high school. So children now are born with it, right? They
Yeah.
are digital ready out of the womb. They're
Yeah.
swiping screens as toddlers. But I didn't have to deal with any of the drama of the online chaos, the cyberbullying, or the digital harassment. And I really wanted to help the girls that I was working with and my nieces, right? And I was vulnerable, and I shared that story. And it was really the first time that I shared it, and really in the public. I shared it within the organization that I was mentoring the girls and volunteering. But I had an opportunity to share that story in Cosmopolitan magazine. So in 2011, I shared my founder story. I shared all of the details about how I was bullied and teased and harassed, and how that impacted me. And sharing that with Cosmopolitan magazine, that was huge. It actually helped me get my first 100 social media followers. I had people
Well
reaching
done.
out to me. Yeah, thank you. I had people reaching out to me. It was very fascinating, because I had someone here in the Detroit area who read the article. And she said, "Wow, I was really inspired by the story. I just want you to know that, I had similar experiences, and you really inspired me. I want to keep in touch." To this day, we still keep in touch.
Yay, yay. And so powerful. Such a powerful story for so many reasons. First of all, at least in today's age, social media has become really powerful. And
Hmm.
there's a pressure to go and post a couple of times, or just to like be in this constant zone of performance,
Mm,
I would call it. And when you are
yes.
giving out from a heart-led space, just this whole performing space does not work really well. It doesn't align, right?
Hmm.
Like that's very much like go around the loop and keep being this automated robot doing
It can
different
feel
dance
that
and the
way.
things. And then the other thing is, well, you're this heart-led person, you bring energy to a space, you hold space for people to grow, find their own answers, get their insights, take a step up. It's very different energies. One's very calming, relaxed, the other one's very, so they can be very opposite. But I like the idea where you felt called. What was your story of writing for Cosmopolitan, and how has social media or the visibility journey been for you?
Well, so just for clarification, I actually responded to a query that a reporter from Cosmopolitan had. I didn't write the article. It was a reporter. She said that she was looking to speak with adult women who were bullied as children, and how that impacted their lives, their relationships, as well as their choice in careers, that sort of thing. And I thought that was a great opportunity. One, because I was able to share my story on a larger platform, right, outside of my immediate community. But also, it was a great opportunity for visibility, for me. My background actually is in journalism. So I was a news reporter for a local newspaper here in the Detroit area. And then I started doing freelance work. So storytelling has always been something that's been a part of who I am and what I love to do. I love to help people share their stories. I think that is something that we all should do. I actually was an obituary writer. Um,
Oh,
well, yeah, that was some of my first assignments was writing obituaries, and that really taught me the importance of sharing your story before you transition. Because if you share your story now while you're alive, you can control the narrative. You know, when you pass away, someone can do a great job of telling your story, but it's not first person. Um, they get to make up whatever they want to about you. You don't get an opportunity to control the narrative and be able to tell people this is who I really am, and this is my passion. This has been my journey. This is what I love, what I dislike. All the things you are able to put it out there, right? And so while I loved writing obituaries, to be honest, people were like, "Oh, that's a little morbid," but you get to tell people stories. Some of these people had never told their stories before, right? I got to meet with their families, and it was a way for them to have closure, but to also celebrate and honor their loved one. But it would have been really nice to have a first person account. And that's why I encourage people to tell your story. Don't let it be at your funeral where we learn how awesome you are. Tell your
yeah.
story now.
And the
But that's how I started as a newspaper writer.
That's amazing. Like that would be really so cool. Um,
Hmm.
Getting that background, but also obituaries. Like when I think about it, it's also made you think from a very young age. What is your story? What is the
Mm,
legacy? What are people talking about you? So it gives you a sense of purpose. What am I here for? What am I doing? Yes, we all go out, eat, have our friends, relationships, the normal day to day thing. But why have you come here on earth? Like,
mm.
why did you choose this lifetime? Why did you come here? So, what is your story? That's beautiful. But talk us through now, like in terms of your visibility and how did that go on from there? How have you been able to show yourself in your business?
Yeah, that's another great question. You ask great questions. Um, I think visibility is important. So for me, visibility is viability. And I think that the more we're able to share our stories, the one, we get good practice. Rather, you get good practice in perfecting your talking points, right? But you also get to tell your story in different ways to different audiences that is going to resonate with that particular audience. So I tell people, whether you're sharing your story on the stage or on a magazine page, that there's a way that you can do it, and it actually is beneficial to not just yourself. So the people who are like, "Oh, I don't want the spotlight," I always tell them it's not about you. It's about the people who you could potentially serve, whose lives you can change, whose lives you can actually save. Because some of us, we have some things that we've gone through in our lives, our journeys, that are transformational. And it's going to help someone avoid costly or even life threatening mistakes that we may have made. If we could tell our stories to someone else, that might save them some heartache and some pain, right? And they can be inspired. And so I think that having the opportunity and the various platforms to tell those stories are important. I tell people that that earned media is a great way. Um, like the Cosmopolitan magazine feature that I was in, that was great. Being on podcasts like this, that's also great visibility to connect with your particular audience or connect with other audiences. And that visibility journey for me has really proven to be beneficial. One, I could connect with prospective customers or clients, but also I connect with other amazing individuals like yourself. Remember, I said that I want a good vibe tribe, and so I think that the more we're out here telling our stories, the more that we're sharing who we are and our mission and our purpose, the more support we will be able to have in our businesses. But we're off. able to offer others that support. So being featured in magazines has really helped me to be in front of audiences of people that I would have never had an opportunity to do otherwise, right? I post things on my website, or there may be a blog that I would write, and it just goes so far. But then when you're able to connect with these other audiences, the earned media versus your own media, your website, your social media pages, there are different types of audiences that we could connect with and really engage with the different folks who we want to reach, whether that's funders, prospective clients. It could also be potential business partners. So yeah, being visible is great. Even if you're shy, I consider myself, a lot of people don't realize this. I consider myself an introvert.
I'm the same.
I'm an introvert, but I
I
realize the
think I'm an
importance.
extrovert. Like sometimes I put on the mask of an extrovert when I am in
Hmm.
that stage, but I really need to just be me.
Yeah, I put on the extrovert mask as well when I need to, but it's important again to put yourself out there, and that's what I've been helping people to do. So I love being a storyteller, and that's actually what inspired me to launch my new venture, Inspired Life Professionals, to help people to really get noticed for the good work that they're doing in the world. My work with Empowered Flower Girl, that social enterprise, helped me to meet so many amazing people who were doing transformative work in their communities and globally. And I said, these people deserve to have their stories seen and heard. Where can we position them? What stage should they be on? Should they be doing TEDx, or should they do some sort of national women's conference or business conference? Or should they be featured in Cosmopolitan magazine? And the answer is yes. We want to get them that visibility. So I coach people and I help them to tell their stories in ways that resonates with different audiences.
So, what does your new venture do? Tell us about it.
Sure. So Inspired Life Professionals is a boutique communications consultancy, right? We're small. It's mostly it's mostly me with a team of amazing freelancers, and we work to help with storytelling. It's mostly around PR and thought leadership, specifically for change makers, whether those are people who run nonprofits or social enterprises, those individuals who are doing light work, um, purpose-driven folks who are out here making a difference in the world, but maybe don't necessarily have the opportunity to be seen. Right? They may not be
Hmm.
selected all the time for the top awards in their community. So I help them to find those platforms where they can tell their stories. I
Where they
help
can
them
be
to develop, yeah, to help them to develop
amazing.
their story in a way, and their expertise, to showcase their expertise, because we're all experts in something. We have this lived experience, and I want people to see that.
Amazing. I love that. And before we go on to the rapid fire questions, there's one more question
Hmm.
I'd love to ask because you're so
Hmm.
good at words. So, your first year, you said the years was the year of like what? Do you have names for the next years or the phases that you had after that? What happened after that year of what? What now?
So the year after what? What is this? Was okay. How
Go.
am I going to do this? Really, just trying to figure out the how of things, and I would say that trying to figure out the how um, is really what I continue the phase that I continue to be in, because things change. We went through a global pandemic, right? So many of us had to shift, and we shifted how we were doing business. We shifted how we were communicating. So the stages after that, after the what, was the how, but always uh, underneath it all was the why. Um, it's always I think that. our why is important. And no matter what phase we are in our business or the organizations that we're leading, it's always going to be about the why.
Oh, I love that. Love that. um,
Mhm.
uh, Actually, I do have one more question before we
Sure.
go into the rapid fire, and that would be around social media as such. You know, we talked a lot around how you've used other platforms to get featured. So that's a great way. But what's your take on social media? How do you use social media? What's your strategy there?
Yeah, so social media can be great. It can be intimidating for a lot of people. I'll be honest, I don't really like going live on social media. That's not my ministry. I shy away from it, but I do it occasionally, right? But I do find that certain platforms are more effective for me than others. Some people think that they need to be on everything from Facebook and LinkedIn to Instagram and TikTok, Reddit, and all these other places. However, what works for you works for you. There are certain social media sites that I prefer over others. For inspired life professionals, really, LinkedIn has been great. For Empower Flower Girl, Instagram has actually helped me to build more connections. So it really just depends on the audience that you're trying to reach. I will say I'm a LinkedIn girly. I just love LinkedIn. There's so many things that you can do with LinkedIn, and I think that people they sleep on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn there's like over a billion people, I think, or something on LinkedIn, and the type of professional relationships that you can build. And I would say LinkedIn, for now, is not about the drama. There's not a celebrity gossip that's on there. There's not all the pettiness that happens on other social media platforms. I think LinkedIn is a great way to connect with your good vibe tribe, but to also be able to utilize the tools like the newsletters to showcase your expertise. So I think that social media can be very advantageous if you're using it correctly. Like you mentioned the word strategy, so you need to have a strategy.
So, what's your favorite LinkedIn hack? Let's say your favorite LinkedIn tip.
Okay, so my LinkedIn tip for folks is to definitely utilize your LinkedIn banner. I said, that's free ad space for you. Some people may have like the ocean as the background, which, I love the ocean. I mentioned how much I love water, but I actually have my ebook advertised on my banner. So you can swap that out if you have an event that you're planning, and you can actually put in the back on your banner that upcoming event with a registration link. Or if you have a speaking engagement coming up, you can post that as well as your background or banner. So I think that if folks really utilize that real estate that they have, and it's free. You can put whatever image on there you want. Again, if you want the ocean, that's fine. But if you have a book, I will put my book back there.
Love that. And now we'll just go into a few rapid fire questions. You ready?
Okay, we're gonna see.
Nothing hard. I think so. But just say whatever is the first word that comes to your mind. Yeah.
Okay.
So, are you a coffee, tea, or something else person?
Ooh, I'm a bubble tea person.
Love that. Okay, then you mentioned good vibes, that you love to be in good vibes. So, what's your favorite way of getting into good vibe? Let's say you've had a bad day. What do you do to get to good vibes?
I dance.
Ooh, we love movement.
Yes, movement.
What's one thing that most people don't know about you?
Ooh, I'm an open book, but most people don't know I'm an introvert.
Yeah. I think that would be hard to say from the way you come across. Yes, it would be hard
Yeah.
to
I'm also
generally assume.
I'm an actress. I'm an actress as well. So I act like I'm an extrovert. That's what I tell people. I'm like I'm an introvert who acts like an extrovert.
Mm, love that. What has been your biggest aha moment in business so far?
Oof, that's a good one. In real life, I'm going to be honest, that I can charge people for my expertise. Like in real life, that conversation that we had about, oh, well, how much do you charge? And I'm a deer in headlights, like, what? Oh, charge. I can charge people for this. Yeah, people are willing to pay. So that was my aha moment, that people are willing to pay even more than I think that they should.
Okay, and last one.
Mhm.
So you are a storyteller, and if you could have dinner with one storyteller,
Mm.
alive or gone, who would that be?
Wow. That is another great question. A storyteller that, hmm, there's so many amazing journalists that I think about.
Okay, you
But
can do two,
then there's
but give
but
us
then there
favorite.
no, but then there are some authors that are amazing storytellers. And I would have loved to sit down and have lunch with Maya Angelou.
Ah.
Yeah, seriously, I just adore her. She's someone who, when I was younger, as a teen, and I read her books, she inspired me to write some of my own poetry. So I just love poetry and verse, and yeah, Miss Maya Angelou would be someone.
Ah, I love her too. Yeah. So thank you, Rashida. You have been like just so amazing. It's been so fascinating talking to you. If listeners want to reach out to you, what is the best place that they can find you?
Surprise, surprise, LinkedIn. Please get in touch with me on LinkedIn. It's my name, Rasheda Williams, and you see how to spell my name there, Rasheda, for those of you who are listening. But it's Rasheda Williams on LinkedIn, and you can visit my website, inspiredlifepros.com. And that's pros like PROS, not prose like Maya Angelou would write.
Thank you so much, Rashida. It has been so much fun listening to you. And thanks to all the listeners as well for tuning in today. I hope you got something out today because I loved listening to Rashida share her
Thank
really
you.
honest experience moving from 2010, so 15 years in
Hmm.
business, serving with purpose,
Yes.
expanding, shining light in the world, being the light worker. So I hope that gives you inspiration to start or to keep marching ahead with whatever you were doing. And you don't have to do it with more work. You can do it with something that's a lot more easeful for you. You can be visible the way you want to be. It does not have to be like everything to do, but just serve with your light, serve with your purpose, and the world will be such a better place with you in it. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.